Well, good evening. My name's Steve Hooper, and I've been volunteered by these lovely people to say a few words on behalf of Lucania Soccer Club, specifically the 1987 group. I'm pretty nervous, as you can probably tell, and I am trying a few different methods of relaxing, like imagining the audience in their underwear or naked. So just give me a minute. I've seen this mob many times in their underwear and naked, and believe me, it doesn't help. To begin, the club would like to thank the Sports Hall of Fame Selection Committee and Board of Directors for this great honor, and also to congratulate the other most deserving inductees to the class of 25. I was talking to Troy in the VIP room before we came on, and I told him that he was the last person to ever score a goal on me in Old Timers Indoor. Now, the fact that I broke my arm shortly after that and never played again might be the reason, but that's what happened. It's been quite the journey to arrive at this moment. Back in 1971, a group of immigrants and local soccer enthusiasts, mostly from a small city called Muro Lucano in the province of Potenza in southern Italy, decided they would form a soccer club, hence the name Lucania. It's a small world. My daughter's father-in-law, Tony Guzzi, played on that team in those first years. Well, you can't just start a team and go straight into the top division. You have to start in the bottom division, finish in the top places each year, and earn promotion one season at a time until you make it to the first division, which Lucania managed to do quite quickly. My own long association with the club began in the spring of 1976. Shortly after my family immigrated to Canada from England in 1971, I played one season, 1972, for Winnipeg Tatra Soccer Club. Decided it wasn't for me and retired, thinking I'd never play again. Then, one day I received a call from someone named Jerry, the owner, who said he was with Lucania Soccer Club asking if I would be able to help them out filling in for their injured goalie. I'd never heard of them, so I wasn't too keen on the idea. Still, I agreed to meet with them to talk about it. It turns out they had got my number from my father-in-law, who worked with one of the club's members. A few days later, there was a knock on my door, and I opened it to find two very Italian-looking gentlemen in dark overcoats. One was holding a bunch of roses, and the other a box of chocolates. Apparently they weren't for me because they quickly gave them to my wife, Nancy. Now, you have to remember that at that time, movies like The Godfather were very popular. And the thought did occur to me at that time that they may have been there to make me an offer I couldn't refuse. Of course, it was nothing like that. They were very charming, very persuasive, and I agreed to help out on a temporary basis, one that ended up lasting 20-odd years. As soon as I joined the team, it was clear that it was a special group and organization. The support from the community, executive, and sponsors was fantastic. Such good times, fond memories, and some really crazy characters and stories, most of which I just can't talk about here tonight. Year after year, the team continued to improve and get stronger. So many lifelong friendships and relationships were formed during those years. Nowadays, my only involvement in the game is supporting my two granddaughters, Sienna and Alessa, at their Bonnie Vittel games. Go Flames! And it seems I can't go to a game nowadays without running into an old teammate or opponent. They're there supporting their own grandkids or kids. Trouble is, we usually end up talking about our joint replacements, injuries, aches and pains. I doubt back in 1971 the club ever dreamt of the successful years to come. I think they would have been happy just as long as we beat Ital'Inter, the other Italian team in the league at that time. We did that on a regular basis, by the way, and that was quite some rivalry. Throughout the club's history, there has been one thread holding it together, and that's Mike Nardiello. Mike started as a player in 1971 and was a teammate of mine in 1976 before his playing career was cut short by injury. Mike then moved into management of the team and is now an owner. Mike's tireless efforts, scouting, recruiting players, and fundraising made sure we had everything we needed. Most importantly, a fresh pack of juicy fruit gum waiting for me in the dressing room each and every game. The players get all the glory, but the credit goes to Mike. Let's give us a wave, Mike. Mike, thanks for everything. So, on to 1987, when, as Marcello mentioned in the tribute, we had lost several key players to the Winnipeg Fury at the start of the year. Mike did his usual stellar job of recruiting and replacing those guys. And with Coach Archie Kane, we went on to win the league, our first MSA Provincial Cup, and both the Winnipeg and Thunder Bay International tournaments. The Nationals were held here in Winnipeg that year, and Archie worked our butts off in preparation. I think all of us remember the pain of our Sunday morning practices at Grant Park when Archie would show up, usually in a foul mood, maybe after Saturday night, I'm not sure, but usually in a foul mood, and we ran and we ran and we ran. We also added, as mentioned before, and most of my speech has been preempted by the video and the tributes made by others and the program. We also added 3 juvenile league players to the tournament roster: Marno Olafsson, Billy Ezzard, and Kevin Antonio. Those youngsters added a tremendous spark and enthusiasm to the group. In the group stage of the tournament, we tied Ontario 0-0 and beat Nova Scotia 2-1. Those results advanced us to the gold medal game against BC, a game we won 1-0 on a first half goal from Kevin Method. Little story about Kevin. I don't know if any of you know him. You may be able to tell from the pictures, but Kevin was just a monster of a guy. He didn't look like that much with a suit or a jacket on. He took off his shirt, and he's just like a Greek god. I remember he came from BC, and he first showed up at a game at Memorial Park. And it was a hot day, and we were playing against Thistle. And he took off his shirt in the dressing room. We'd never met him before. He took off his shirt in the dressing room, and just look at this. And Archie says, "Kevin, go out for the warm-up without a shirt on and run around in front of those guys." Now, in that final, we beat BC. Now, they've long been a powerhouse in the Canadian soccer world, and they never hesitate to tell anyone that will listen just how good they are. I can tell you, beating them in the final was extra sweet. Lucania followed that first championship with bronze medals in 1989, 1991, 1997, and then again became national champions in 2000. According to the Canadian Soccer Association, Lucania is the most decorated club in Canadian amateur soccer history. And the later team in 2000, I believe it was, they were ranked #1 team in all of Canada. Most recently, this same team, 1987 team, was inducted into the Manitoba Soccer Hall of Fame. So now I'd like to recognize each of the players and staff of the 1987 champions. They're all on stage here behind me. except for some very key people. The absentee players have already been named, but I'd just like to have a big shout out to Mike and Nancy Brown. They were our athletic therapists. Yeah, they never missed a game, either here in Winnipeg or out of town. Such a fantastic couple who took care of our injuries, aches and pains, pre-game massages, and tape jobs. Sadly, we lost Big Mike some years back. He was just a gem. He always around the room with his big shit-eating grin on his face. Sorry about that. But, a heart of gold and just an I'm like Donald Trump, encyclopedic knowledge of sports trivia. The big man would have got such a big kick out of tonight. So, what was that? Did they open the bar? No. 6 minutes. I'm not going with some partner. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I promised I would keep it short because apparently most of these guys can't stand for that long anyway, unassisted. So in closing, I'll show all these people. In closing, and on behalf of Lucania Soccer Club, thank you so much again for this.